We will start with our last session with a very nice spirit. We welcome Marcos Westphalen, who is Director for Latin America in Google Customer Solution, and Yael Camacho, Account Executive for Google Cloud. So now we will give the floor to Marcos. Welcome. Thank you, Luciano. Good morning, everyone. So we will start. I want to share a presentation discussing the opportunity of artificial intelligence in the world and in Latin America. We will start from a general aspect and we will break it down into more particular aspects for you to have a great overview of what we are doing to reach artificial intelligence for SMEs in the region. So as Luciano was just introducing me, my name is Marcos Westphalen from Customer Solutions team at Google, and we work with over 300,000 SMEs in Latin America, helping them to maximize their results using all of these tools. If you want to connect with our team, you can scan the QR code on the screen. I will be happy to answer any of your questions after the presentation, and it will be a real pleasure to get into contact and to continue with this discussion. So without further ado, we will start with our presentation. And I would like to start with this concept because we are living disruptive times. Great change is occurring all over the world. I like to say that this is the last normal day because after COVID, we started to continue discussing financial aspects. This is a deglobalized world. So we our experience is great changes, competitive pressure for companies and for SMEs. So in this context, it is interesting to know that CEOs are lasting less and less, and companies also live shorter lives. So the life of a CEO in S&P 500 company has reached historical minimum numbers, and at the same time, companies in the S&P 500 have gone from an average of 32 years in 1967 to an expected average of 17 years in 2030. So they live less of the time that they did a few decades ago. At the same time, other things are experience like a higher speed in terms of the adoption of technology. As you can see on the screen, it took 3.5 years to Netflix to reach 1 million users, and it took ChatGPT only 5 days. So you can see that launching after launching and platform after platform, the global scale that all of these platforms reach is occurring within shorter period of time. So Instagram took, for Instagram, it was just 2.5 months. So this is quite an important acceleration. And the meaning behind this is that we need to understand what is going on faster than we used to do and adapt our companies to this change. If we take and analyze the million users, it's also the same. So our CEO, Sundar Pichai, thinks this is what he thinks about artificial intelligence as one of the most profound technologies in which humanity is working on, more than fire or electricity. We are facing changing times, disruptive times, and this presents quite also a challenge and an opportunity. The world has changed, and AI will continue redefining new winners. Here you can see the companies that ruled the world in the market in 2004, and if you compare to 2024. So this is quite a different notion, quite a different map, because 20 years ago, the leading companies were the energy companies, financial companies. You can see them on the screen. And in 2024, the leading companies are in the technological industry and market capital. So it's not that the technology sector is just another one, but is the main sector of our economy. And in 2034, we will expect also a challenge because we are seeing NVIDIA as one of the top leading companies. It's a recent company. Almost no one knew this company 2 or 3 years ago. And this is the change that is already being evident with new winners, new companies that will appear on this list. So we are living a world of high changes. Let me tell you about this information. And what does this mean in terms of adoption of technology? This year, we processed 480 billion tokens per month in our products and APIs, 5 times more as regards to last year. And second, we have over 7 million developers using Gemini. That is five times higher than last year. I'm talking about 2024. I'm comparing last year with this year. And the use of Gemini in Vertex AI increased 40 times. My presentation is frozen. Let me resume. We have over 400 million users in Gemini app. So the world is adopting AI and they are building with AI. We continue innovating in this AI world. If you have seen, we've launched Google Beam. It's a new AI-centered video communication platform, and it provides the opportunity to have a video conference and without having the notion of being there, because it uses AI to create 3D images in a very efficient way. Many of you, of course, probably have seen the power of translation in Google Meet and how artificial intelligence allow us to overcome linguistic barriers. You might be connected as SMEs with the rest of the world in a very simple way using this function. You could explore globalization opportunities in a less friction way. Third, Project Astra. This is a very nice project. It has to do with artificial intelligence interacting in the physical and world. This Project Astra allow us to apply artificial intelligence in the physical world to understand and use it. And Project Mariner, also another project that is a first step to agents able to use computers to interact with the web and carry tasks for you. You will no longer have to concern about looking for a job or to hire staff or to ask the ingredients for a recipe or to find the right hotel for your travel. Everything will be handled by an agent. You will ask what you need and they will take care with the web to comply to fulfill your needs.
And lastly, something that is not least important, the new AI mode probably is the change with Google with AI. Google is the first engine of generative AI. Now with Nano Banana, that enables you to generate spectacular images. But the main engine of generative AI is Google, owing to what we call AI overviews, that is the general views of AI that answers a high volume of searches. Remember the 10 links, 10 blue links that Google used to show. Now it's a new mode engine of generative AI because the main volume of generative AI in Google are generated exactly in Google. And we are taking it to the next level. It is also in Spanish, and each launching gets faster to all the Latin American markets. And this makes our job to test these products and to ensure that these launches are okay. AI mode enables you to generative AI searches. So the searches in Google is changing. And as I said, today, the search engine is basically a generative AI engine. We have over 5 million searches in Google per year, and many are for dry generation. Z generation uses the search engine a lot, and this is just a piece of data of reality. What we wanted to share is that the way of searching is changing because of the generative AI in the search engine. Since we have incorporated AI, there are more searches. That is, the cake has become bigger. This makes sense because if you remember ChatGPT launching, Gemini, that first it was called Bard, and now Google, as users, we feel that today we can have better answers to our questions. So we ask more questions. So the cake has become bigger, significantly bigger. People do more searches since generative AI and mainly through Google. And also the people search for new things in a higher rate and much more complex. New, that is to say, that these were searches that had no precedent, and this makes sense because searches are more and more complex and more personalized. Once Google search had one or two search terms, now we put complete phrases or maybe 25, 35 words. So the search engine is changing, and this is important to understand because you have to adapt your strategies, your business strategies to these changes. Okay, and as I was telling you, we are making it more, we're enhancing the search engine. I am giving you examples of the integration of the overview AI generated and the search engine, and how this integration has increased the number of searches, and not any search. The overview enhances mainly business searches. This is an opportunity for all the the people making marketing and advertisement in Google. So Google Lens is a new generative lens that you have almost 20 billion searches every month. You just work with words, not with words, but through images. And this kind of search is really the preferred one by younger searchers. One of every 4 searches, visual searches in Google Lens has a commercial intention. So the visual presence of your brand it can be enhanced by these means. More and more companies are using AI in the whole world. That is to say, the 78% of companies are using AI at least in one business function. In this chart, you can see how many use in one or more features, 3 or more, 4 or more, or 5 or more functions. You can see that in 2024, there was an acceleration in what is the use of AI and the business functions. 78% are using at least once. Yet 16% on the other extreme are using over 5 or more functions. More and more companies, therefore, are using AI in different areas of their businesses. In Latin America, in particular, there is a growing enthusiasm for AI. You can see here in these charts at the right, the perception of the benefits, AI benefits, in comparison to its drawbacks. You have a very good balance in countries such as Mexico, Colombia, Chile, a little less in Brazil, but far above the average of the rest of the world and in the developed markets like the United States. That's why AI is such a great opportunity for us in Latin America. There's a lot of enthusiasm. This means that there are more and more small businesses trying AI and seeing its competitive advantages. And this in the chart to your left, it is applied to a diversity of cases, whether to its customer services, it is being used, and there is a way and great possibilities to use it just like this for traveling, for bank processes too. So we see a diversity of users cases, and this is one of the strengths of AI. This is a cross use. It is applied to all the business areas that can be changed through AI. In particular, McKinsey underlines 3 great uses with concrete use and with a very good impact on the business. First, marketing and sales. We can enhance the customization to create contents to increase commercial productivity. In Google, we are using a lot of AI to identify business opportunities and sales. Secondly, what is referred to customer operations, that is to improve the customer and the user's experiences. This is a case that is being seen. And in the third place, what is software development. Here, AI accelerates this development and reducing research time, design time, and improving all the processes of simulation and testing. Therefore, marketing and sales, customer operations, and software developments are the 3 great areas where we are seeing many cases, a lot of cases of users, more companies using AI, especially in these 3 areas. Now, it is very interesting that in this AI world, the behavior of the consumer is changing and it is becoming more and more complex, and we call it predictably unpredictable. This is from a study that we started with BCG. That is, we have 4 key actions: searching, streaming, scrolling, and shopping. The user search, the user stream, the user scroll, and shop. This is a simultaneous and fluid way of using AI. So AI as a marketing companion is basic to really reach the user in these 4 key actions. We also talk about the searching and the search engine. Let me underline some points in streaming. YouTube is leader in streaming. considering the visual time, especially in TV. YouTube is the most used platform in TV, even more than Netflix. And this piece of data is for United States, but it also applies to our region. People see more than 1,000 hours per day in their TV set. This is really impactful. When we think about TV, we have to think more about YouTube. The creators of YouTube are the new Hollywood. This is very interesting according to some studies that we have started with third parties. The users trust more in YouTube creators than in the creators of other social media. If we are talking about scrolling, shorts is very important. Is the only format that takes the short videos from the telephone to the TV screen. People watch shorts on TV screens, and this kind of views have increased more than double. So this is very important, and I would say that a high percentage of short users in the region between 18 and 44 years do not use TikTok or other social media. So there is a very important segment of the audience that concentrates on shorts. So think about this when you think about your digital presence and how to reach your consumers through the 4 actions that I was telling you. Shorts is a very important part of the scrolling behavior. And third place, well, actually fourth place, people buy through Google more than 1 billion times a day. So we see that Google and YouTube are platforms like users not only look for what they want to buy, but they go to the action step and they buy. 80% of Z generation go to Google to research and to find and to buy. So we are going to scroll past this, and we think that Google and YouTube are 2 essential platforms, mainly with generative AI integration for all of you to discover and to make decisions. These are made in Google and YouTube. This is what consumers use, and it is basic for our businesses to understand this behavior. I'm going to skip some of my slides to tell you some other things. I don't know. Well, we are. Let me show a video that is a summary of what I'm telling you. The world is streaming, searching, scrolling, shopping, and you. Are you there?
¿Por qué mi sartén antiadherente se pega?
Why my pan is sticking all the food? The temperatures are not correct.
Temperatures save up to 1,000 degrees, and it's virtually indestructible.
Veamos después del video. Cierro.
Bueno, creo que el video resume muy bien el comportamiento que hoy
Well,
estamos
I
viendo
think
en el
this is a
consumidor,
clear
cómo
summary of the consumer behavior and how technological
el punto no
platforms
es que solo hagan
are
mejor producto,
evolving.
sino
It's not
consigan
just
mejores
making
datos,
better
viendo
ads, but
estas tendencias, las
building
personas
better
las
businesses and using all of these tools
hablaba
that we
de
have to
tiempos
offer.
disruptivos
I was
y
talking
por
about
eso
disruptive
creo
times,
que la era
and
de la IA es la era de la
that is why I
colaboración.
believe
Algunas empresas
that AI era is the era of
equipos
collaboration.
entre
I
áreas.
think it's fundamental to
Nosotros
work
estamos
across
también
different areas within
trabajar con
our
divisiones
group teams, our teams, and it's essential working with SMEs, trying to find better organization and designs to facilitate this inter-area collaboration. AI cannot be at the department within a company, but it has to be, it crosses every area. So that is fundamental in our demanding world in which companies are requested higher collaboration. So companies must multiply their results. And collaboration is the foundation of innovation. We continue to innovate in Google Ads. We've added AI generative to make life easier to companies, especially working with SMEs, because we keep hearing that our platform was more complex than the platform in Meta or TikTok, but that is true. And at the same time, it's a real powerful tool. So we've worked to simplify it through AI. Since we introduced Gen AI in the conversational experience introduced like 2 years ago, 500,000 advertisement users have used this tool. So we try to integrate AI in our platforms to make your life easier. We also try to simplify image creation for your campaigns. This also has been a point of demand, and many of our companies, of our SMEs, are already using this without having to hire a third party. And we've also launched campaigns. Those of you who are familiar with maximum campaigns that allow you to have a simple analysis of your platforms using Google Maps, using YouTube, Google Search, Discover, among others. And also, we are betting on new innovations in our region, in Latin America. We've launched new products that are not present in the United States because they deal with local needs of in this market. And one of these new development is the integration of WhatsApp with Google Ads. So when you see an advertising campaign in Google, you can implement this solution. We are using this in 9 countries, and you can be reached through your WhatsApp channel. On top of this, in the 20th anniversary of Google Mexico, we launched this we launched some advertisement, and this is the one that I love the most, because it's not just adding WhatsApp like an extension, but you can have ads that are only WhatsApp related ads. And why is this so important for SMEs? Because you do not need a website to leverage all the Google potential uses. You can use your WhatsApp channel, and as you can see in the image, you can use it this way. We are testing, and it will be available for the whole world by the end of the year. So SMEs are the heart of this change. Sometimes their resources are less, but they work at a higher speed, and they have the mindset, the culture to drive all this change. The case of Megatone in Argentina is a real example of how they were able to catalog their products at a higher scale using Gemini. Move Media in Chile is also an example. They have developed AI agents to automatize the flow management of working flow management, and they use this for advertising campaigns. And in Colombia, we have the case of Bold. They use AI to reach over 300,000 local shops in Colombia with their their payment management solution. So these are just some examples. We also have examples in Brazil, Mexico, and all the countries in the region. And I will be happy to share some of these with you to inspire, of course, yourselves. And we are committed to the ecosystem development. Many SMEs tell us, I would like to hire an expert on artificial intelligence, but I don't know where to find this person. We are working with SMEs and with associations to develop talent on this topic. You can see some of the training courses that we have developed. We provide a lot of scholarships or opportunities for people who want to take this opportunity. And the certificates, these career certificates, are an important pillar for our company. And also, let me tell you that we will hear the testimony of Shael in Google Cloud, because we have launched many certifications to address the training of future leaders. We use generative AI and to capitalize, to make the best use of all these tools for market solutions. So we will continue to develop this type of initiatives. Most of them are free of cost, and we are very generous in providing opportunity for everyone who wants to take advantage of these programs. And last, together with IDB, we launched an international trade program using AI and digital tools for SMEs in their globalization purposes. So that is what we have been working on this collaborative space. And if you want to expand or to get to know more about this, you can reach out to us. Thank you so much, and I hope you have enjoyed my presentation. Shael, the floor is yours. Thank you, Marcos. Very nice presentation and all the things that you discussed about collaboration. And I especially love this, and I will tell you why.
Mientras tanto, les digo que perdón, decía que las presentaciones las vamos a compartir. Había una pregunta.
We will share the presentation with you after the presentation. Apologies, but there is an echo.
Ahí me escuchan, ¿verdad?
Sí. Can you hear me okay?
Sí, perfecto.
Yes.
Buenísimo. Ahí pueden ver mi pantalla ya, la
So,
presentación.
can you see my screen? I'm
Sí.
loading
Excelente.
the presentation.
Listo. Marcos, muchísimas gracias por...
So, thank you, Marcos,
por la palabra. Justo te decía que me gustó mucho
for
este
your
video,
introduction.
mucho la parte
I was muted,
mencionabas el
but I
tema de
loved the part
colaboración.
where you
Ahora voy a
discussed
platicar
collaboration and you
un poquito de
mentioned
eso
that
y de la
term,
manera como
because I will expand on that,
conectamos
and
este
how to
pilar
connect
que vemos
this
dentro de Google Cloud con
pillar
todo
in
el
Google
ecosistema también
Cloud with the
del
whole
mundo de ads. Así que bueno, pues me
ads
encantará
ecosystem.
que esta
So
sesión sea muy interactiva.
I
Sé
expect
que
to have an
tenemos
interactive
varios
session.
mensajes
I am seeing a lot of
leyendo y si gusto igual
messages in the chat, on the chat,
enviar ahí
but
algunos
of
mensajes
course
conforme les
you
voy
can
preguntando algunas cosas. Y bueno, nada más
ask
confirmar una
your
última vez.
questions
¿Ven
as I
bien
move
mi
on with the
pantalla? ¿Ven mi
presentation.
audio?
So
¿Escuchan mi audio y todo?
you can hear me okay? You can see my presentation?
Sí, perfecto, excelente.
Okay.
Buenísimo, listo. Entonces voy a comenzar y digo,
So
creo
I
que
will
esta presentación va muy
start, and
conectada, ¿no? A todas estas
this
gráficas y estadísticas que
presentation
nos
is
compartían
connected
en
with
playback,
graphs
que son
and
bastante
statistics
interesantes,
that we've
en donde,
shared
como
in
bien
the
decían,
previous
hay un tema
presentation.
de
And
adaptación y de evolución
there is something related to adaptation and evolution in the market, not just for the traditional companies and these native digital companies. They were born on the internet. They can scale with the cloud. So I've prepared this presentation. I don't know if you are used to use Gemini in your mobile phones, whether it's Android or iPhone, and you can use Gemini to interact. We have this. We have our own hardwares, our devices. We can activate with the Hey Google option, and we can discuss artificial intelligence. We've launched many updates on AI models. We've talked about Gemini Enterprise Third, and how I like to introduce this by talking about carbon and Silesium. And I talk a lot about the concept of robots becoming humans and humans becoming robots. So this evolving collaboration, we talked about 2034, 35 in the notion of unlocking the potential of companies as the leading industries. I'm Shael. I work as an accountant executive in Google Cloud. You can scan my QR code to reach out to me on LinkedIn. And when people ask me about what do I do in my day-to-day operation, because we talk a lot about marketing and advertising, and it caught my attention this use of search as the main searcher in interactive AI. And when I am often asked about the work that we do in Google Cloud, and in the past there was like an understanding of such a complex world and expensive thing to implement. But the intention of today's presentation is to reach to a meeting point in which we can work, serving a big market in which, for instance, is led by SMEs in North America. How to make this friendly and at the same time realistic. I've prepared some topics to navigate all of these notions. I wanted to make an analogy for you to make it more fun. I would like to share some customers' stories for you to take home. We will have some demos, and I would like to end by reflecting on the collaboration and on the human aspect of this. So I kindly ask you to stay to the end because we will share an invitation for a co-investment program in Google Cloud for Latin America. And the idea is for you to start having or participating in this project. To start, this is a personal picture, but this is in 1997 in San Francisco with my family. Back then, I didn't imagine that I was going to be so near to the headquarters of one of the most important companies nowadays. I have the privilege of working in this company. Secondly, you can see the best artificial intelligence class that I can tell you about. I don't know if you're familiar with this book. This is a term that we call prompt engineering in English, and it has to do with the way in which we ask artificial intelligence whether LL model or whatever you want to see, in the way we give an instruction. And this book, The Secret, talks about being specific in life. And that is what I tell the customers and people in the industry, to be specific, as specific as possible in the use of artificial intelligence. What do we want to measure, and the use cases to implement, and the result that we want to get through this processing.
Lastly, I would like that in your homes, in your offices, in the different places you are in, we do a short reflection as how when we were children, or maybe with our children, that sometimes we buy Lego. And I like this anecdote because here we have in the screen the founders, some of the founders of Google, and they would measure the tasks of Gemini using this image with something that is a little bit more modern. And we see that in Stanford University, one of the first servers they use Lego pieces to do this base for these racks. Imagine that this small server they use is now part of one of the most solid networks that is used in the world. So combining San Francisco innovation, change cities, Lego, Google founders, and being specific, how can I connect this to your companies? In this reflection of using Legos to play or to be in a creative process, I'd like you to close your eyes. If I had painters, balls, Legos, what can I innovate in my business? Where should I start? How can I use AI for this? And you can open your eyes now. And what do I say this? Because sometimes we dream about using super disruptive technologies. Something I tell the clients is go step by step. There's no conflict here. We can have win-wins here, that is very simple projects with a low effort and with a high impact. But I always say we can learn to crawl, to jog, to run. There is a process that somehow I call it a digital transformation process, where your company is going to be more and more mature. In the image that you see, you have an AI legend. All this imagination and this reflection I'm telling you about, this is what we have in Google Cloud. We have several pieces so that you can build any user case that you want in your company, but there is a path to be there, to reach that goal. So can you put in your chat who likes sports in general, who likes Formula One, and specifically who is your favorite driver? To make an analogy, well, I will start reading you to see what are the things that the audience likes. But I want to make an analogy of how it is to build a car compared to building innovation in a company. When we talk about business, there is different kinds of maturity depending on the industry. Not all the industries are ready to invest in this or that technology to accelerate innovation in their organization. So to use this analogy, what do you think is going to be one of the first pieces that you're going to need to build this card, to build this innovation in your company? So I'm going to read from the chat probably. Some of you are going to start saying about the driver, whether the wheels. Well, I'm not an expert on these sports. One of the first components I would prioritize is the engine. Well, and within all of this, we have different kinds of cars, different brands, different drivers, and precisely how can we connect each of these pieces with the human part? This is an AI-generated image is one of the teams that is competing now today. And I like to show this because in the long run, what matters is what is the interaction between the collaborative team, what is the integration of the human resource with each of the components I'm going to show you. This car you can buy, it is public, it is in different retail stores. So I would love that you remember this presentation through this. Let's go to the first one. This engine that I was talking to you about, you can use it with an AI. And the analogy that I use is that many of the companies, the first step that they will in the long run take is the infrastructure. Where does the engine of your company live? Where do you have this infrastructure? Sometimes in the SMBs, this infrastructure is within an air-conditioned room. You have to pay the utilities, and somehow this is not necessarily bad, depending on the industry. But what the cloud allows you to do is that the bigger client, the smaller client is going to use this data center, this global cloud that we have within Google Cloud. And these have several advantages. We have 42 regions at the global level with leading technologies, where the hardware that is being invented is stronger, is optimum, and includes several resources. And wherever you are, I know that many people come from different countries in Latin America, Peru, Argentina. So we have a very strong presence in the region, and you can be quite at ease that retail companies like Mercado Libre that channel your business, they are running their business in our cloud. When we see this map, I like to see that we are flying with our plane, or we are taking a trip, a sea journey, but we don't imagine that within this planet there is a network that is connecting all. There are over 3 billion kilometers of optic fiber cables, and your businesses can use this to accelerate your business process, but also for your innovation processes. What other component do you imagine? I gave you a tip there. The next thing that I would like to include to suggest for your organizations is the wheels, and how these wheels can be something that in the technical language we call it databases. In this we have some of them are closed, some of them are a little bit more open. Google philosophy is what we call open source. That is, we are not lock you in, we are not going to force you to use our technology, but your technology can be used with whatever you have in your organization. I don't like to use the names of the products, but it is very available for you to take advantage of. Why is this important? Because we remember the charts we saw from scrolling, shopping, and streaming that different users have in the web. Well, something that we identified in one of our studies is that now velocity is as important as price. I know that more than one of you, as 1 millisecond in Formula One can make a difference between the winner and the loser. When it is the same with the behavior of users. If we do not give an immediate answer, we run the risk of an abandonment rate for our customers. What we see in the screen is a digital experience where before we had to do much more detailed research. That is what we were talking about, the blue links and the different kinds of search. technologies. Today, the platforms should be able to deliver the right message at the right time in the right way. This is maybe just a user query searching for whatever, but the user is not going to be setting up each of the search criterion. So through AI, we can deliver this result in a very clear way. One of the components that I really love in each organization is what is it that is going to integrate or interconnect the engine, the wheels, the security, marketing, human resources, finance in a company. Sometimes we work, unfortunately, not all of us have the same information, so we make decisions based upon sales report of 2 weeks ago, and marketing is now planning the investment in advertising. So sometimes data do not match in the different sectors of a company. And so one of the solutions that we have within Google Cloud is a pool of data or a warehouse, a data warehouse, where we use a technology that we call BigQuery, that you can load all the data of your organization, or if you have more robust systems, whatever, RP, Oracle, or whatever it is that you can interconnect it and make just one source for truth and for data to make decisions. I'm not going to get into detail because that would be a very technical conversation, but I want to leave this message. Google, being the company that is organizing the information in the world, is one of the best organizations that provide organization data tools for your companies with very open source resources. So we have millions and millions users, where in YouTube ads, Google Ads, or Gmail, our solutions within Google Cloud are quite well positioned in the market. What is the other component? I did this with AI, and I tried to put one name of one of the our safety solutions for one of the potential components that a driver would use. And something very interesting here is that Mexican culture in general in the world, sometimes we buy a telephone, a Pixels, or whatever the brand, and until the screen is broken, we put it like a cover. So unfortunately, we see this in the companies too. The cost is not that the screen is broken in the cell phone. The cost is that sometimes is a sequestration of a system like an RP, or a leak of very confidential information, on any other kind of security that you can imagine. And no companies can be safe in this regard, whether big or small. You can write on the chart how many millions of dollars you imagine that is the cybersecurity cost in the world. How much is it? How big do you think this impact is? So to give you an idea, and I think this is a very important data, the cost of cybersecurity is an economy. Where an economy, it would be the third economy in the world after China and the United States. According to McKinsey, this is the cybersecurity cost in this moment. This is quite a shock. My intention is to be proactive, not to wait for the screen to be broken, to invest, to really work for a cybersecurity strategy in your companies. And I recommend a document in YouTube that is called Google Aurora Operation, and this is about how at their time Google was hacked, but every second that this happens, there is millions of attacks in each of our solutions. And this expertise is what we take, so that through our resources, our tools, we can defend and protect the gas. I'm not going to go deep in the figures. You can just take a screenshot so that you see the size, the magnitude of this impact. To wrap up, we only need two components until we reach the human part. Why is it important, all this journey we took up to this moment? Because many times we attend 1,000 events and everybody wants AI, but not all of them have the information ready for the AI to take advantage of this. Although there is Gemini, although there are 1,000 solutions, if there is no strategy putting the house in order, the solid base, it's going to be very difficult to take advantage of this in the future. Once we do the infrastructure, the security, we can reach a layer of views, a layer of sessions based on data. We have a solution called Looker, where practically the general direction, the finance, whether your tablet, your computer, you can start to identify through boards what is going on in the organization. And once we have all these, well, we have to put sensors in the car. We can use a layer of innovation, a layer. This is the last part of the presentation. How can we maximize the value of data and to foresee and to give a better experience to the customers through these technologies? And this is one demonstration where a principle that we have within Google is a concept that we call one Google. Do not look at Google as YouTube or as search. See Google as YouTube, Google Maps, Google Cloud, etc., etc., and see how all of these parts, all of these solutions can add value to your organization. And what you see on the screen is a demo where practically all of us are mapping or taking advantage of all this technology. For example, we are using sensors with internet to read what is going on in the car, but also we are using Google Maps to map the route of the award, that is the Monaco one, but also we are using a data warehouse where we are concentrating the information of different variables to make decisions. And now imagine that you are the mayor of this city and you're planning all the transit, the public position. And in this example that I'm showing you on the screen, we are using this information from Google Hotels in terms of the demands that the different hotels is going to have to do a probable planning of the demand for the flow of the visitors.
I love this example because we combine many aspects, things that we've talked about, but you can take this and export it to your companies and personalize this for these use cases. And if you remember the Lego parts, let's imagine that each of these colors represents each of that pieces. So your engineering teams, technical teams can use this to build many tools within your organization. And to conclude, I'd like to share a personal anecdote just to mention some examples of it. These analytics technologies for data. I imagine that for Christmas, for instance, you share your favorite music, and this uses our analytics solutions to analyze million users and to help you do that precisely at the end of the year. Some references in Mexico, these are examples for Mexican companies, but we are present in Latin America because this is one of the most strategic markets for us. We would love that in the future, many of your organizations use these ads solutions and get familiar with our solutions. And in this world of data, most of unicorns are using artificial intelligence, and they use Google Cloud for that. This is a public video, and you can see it on YouTube. It's a success story with Liverpool, that is an important retailer in Mexico. And also, I would like to share some things with you. This is a QR code that you can access through your mobiles, and I'd like to take a couple of some time for you to use this. One of our solutions is called Notebook LM. You can process information, quite interest tool to you, and you can use it to study, to create podcasts, to study for an exam, for instance. And I will leave this QR code for you to scan it. You can use your mobiles to experience firsthand the use of artificial intelligence in one of our Google solutions. We can share this with you, of course, later. And a final reflection, going back to the beginning. I always talk with the companies, but we can have 1,000 technologies, spectacular options, but if we do not connect from a human point of view, we will hardly reach to good results. So I'd like to invite you to include training options. We've shared some educational platforms because at the end of the day, human loves imperfect. So that is why it's so fun to see human beings competing in a race car. So we will hardly reach to perfection as human beings, but we can rely on technology to maximize our case uses and our business processes. And the personal anecdote is that I use a Gemini on my phone. I'd like to share a video with you, and I will put the link in the chat. And this is a personal use. I started preparing myself for an interview. So the prompt was to help me to rehearse some the experience of an interview with Google. So this is what I wanted to share, because I'm just a parent. I will put the link for this on the chat. And the next steps, those organizations interested in requesting support from Google Cloud in the use of these technologies to build different topics, infrastructure, data warehouse, analytics, or just the use of artificial intelligence. We have a program with a digital transformation program, and we can provide resources from the educational point of view, and you can partner with us to find the room for innovation in your company. So thank you for listening to my presentation. We will then, I believe, move to Q&A by the end of the session. And Google Cloud is like a Lego. You can build anything you want. In AI, the best thing is to be as specific as possible, and you can find the ideal partner, that is Google, to help you during this process. Thank you once again, and you also have my LinkedIn profile. Thank you so much.
Excelente, Yael. Muchísimas gracias por la presentación.
Thank you, Yael. Excellent presentation. Thank you both. We have lots of questions, but I'd like to address two for questions for the sake of time. Many people ask about the recommendations suggested to work on the positioning for Google searches. That was one of the most commented ones. I can address that one. Very good question.
¿Haces las dos?
Sí, sí, sí.
Vamos.
Sí,
Bueno,
sí.
I can answer
no,
that.
es una gran pregunta y recibimos mucho, ¿no?
We are asked that a
la
lot.
pregunta de cómo hago para posicionarme
How to position in the generative AI motors and in Google that presents a AI generated response. There is no secret, and you will be a little disappointed, but the only way to position yourself or the more sustainable one is by creating a brand. You should think that AI generative motors in the trends of information within the web, having an organic presence across all platforms, you can maximize your chances. To run SEO as it was done in the past, it is complex, but the real secret is to creating a brand, developing a brand, and to get your consumers to attract them directly to your site. So it's not something that we can do overnight. It responds to a consistent work, and that would be my response to this question of positioning in the current world. We have this is a constantly evolving world, and there is no one solution for that. And the other one has to do with the aspect that how to the question about how to access to the benefits for training courses. We can share that I will include the links. I was just doing that. I will send all the information. Perhaps you can send the participants via email, or we can upload this information in the Academy platform, or we can have a follow-up message after this session. We will share the video, the presentations, and we will include that important information also. And feel free to reach out to us via LinkedIn, and we will try to address any of your concerns via LinkedIn. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank also the Google team that make all this participation possible, and please extend my thanks to them. Thank you, Luciano, and thank you. Have a great day.